happy Halloween and blessed Samhain. Welcome to my channel. If you've never been here before, welcome, and if you have already been here, welcome back. So for tonight, we'll be doing some horoscopes as well as a pick-a-pile reading with tarot. I will timestamp everything in the description box below so you can skip ahead to your zodiac sign and also skip to the pile selection and whichever pile you chose, so you can just go ahead and watch whichever parts that you want. So typically horoscopes are based on your rising sign. If you know your rising sign, great. If you don't, you can go ahead and use your sun sign. So you can go ahead with your sun, moon, rising, or Venus and see which one resonates. And this will be based on the current energies with the eclipse season that we have going on, as well as the Mars retrograde in Gemini that starts tomorrow, October 30th. So eclipse season will be in Scorpio and Taurus. We had the new moon in Scorpio on the 25th with the solar eclipse, and then on November 8th we have an eclipse that'll be during the full moon in Taurus. That'll be a lunar eclipse. So we'll go ahead and start with Aries. So Aries, this is your horoscope. So the new moon in Scorpio part of the eclipse fell in your 8th house, the full moon in Taurus falls in your 2nd house, and the Mars goes into retrograde in Gemini, which is in your 3rd house. So with that 8th house, you may be surrounded by a lot of friends, loved ones, and maybe family members that could be going through a really rough time, and you're being called upon with your healing energy to just be their support, just be there to listen. You may be manifesting some things as far as your place of work goes. I see a lot of abundance for you that you could be seeing come into fruition around November. And that Mars in retro being in Gemini in your 3rd house, your challenges might be with communication. You just might not know what to say to people or how to express what you want. So that'll be something to work on. A big part of Mars retrograde energy is face your fears. Maybe your fear could have to do with something involving communication. So think about that, see if it makes sense, and if it does, that'll be your project of the next couple of months to work on until January or so when Mars stations direct. Alright, so we'll move on to Taurus. Taurus, this is your horoscope for the next couple of months here. With eclipse season being in Scorpio and Taurus, that falls in your 7th house as well as your 1st house, and Mars going into retrograde in Gemini falls into your 2nd house. If you're not experienced with astrology, that just sounds like a bunch of blah 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 blah. So I'll tell you what that means. So that eclipse in your 7th house that fell under the new moon of Scorpio, you might be experiencing a very transformational time when it comes to relationships, romance, partnerships, and it doesn't have to be romantic. This can be friendships. Your relationships in general are under a highly transformative period. And with that full moon that falls in Taurus on November 8th for that part of the eclipse season, that has to do with your sense of self. So you could be all focused on yourself right now with self-healing and, the whole you do you energy. Mars going into retrograde in your 2nd house. Your challenges lie in the financial area. You might be thinking about what's your next move financially. You might be having a rough time in your career area of your life, or it could be under evaluation and you're looking to change the way that you make money and change where your values lie. So that'll be your project to work on until about mid-January on the 12th when Mars stations direct. So think about that, see if it resonates with you. If it does, Hopefully that was helpful. So we'll go ahead and move on to Gemini. For Gemini, especially if you're a Gemini rising, this will be your reading for the next couple of months. So with eclipse season, it falls in your 6th house, your 12th house, and then that Mars retro in Gemini falls in your 1st house. So a lot of you may be focused on, there may be a transformative time as far as something involved medically is going on, possibly your health. You might be reevaluating your approach to your diet, exercise. You might be looking to start a brand new project. You may be viewing things differently as far as food goes. There could be a major upheaval going on as far as your health goes. I'm not sure if that resonates or not. And with that eclipse and the full moon of Taurus following, being in that 12th house, that is endings of cycles and new beginnings. And Mars going into retrograde in your 1st house, you may be reevaluating that you do you type of energy. So see if that resonates. You might be reevaluating the way that you focus on yourself and the way that you tend to your own needs. See if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. If it doesn't resonate, check your Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. For my Cancer risings, we'll go ahead and go on to the horoscope for Cancer, especially if you're a Cancer rising. So that new moon in Scorpio, that part of eclipse season that fell in your 5th house, along with the full moon in Taurus that'll be in your 11th house, and Mars retrograde in your 12th. So part of, your focus might be on children. Also, what you do for fun, your hobbies, friends, and cycles coming to a close. You may be evaluating what stays and what goes as far as your social circle goes, and the way that you choose to enjoy life. Like, maybe you once liked to go hiking, and maybe you don't want to go hiking anymore. Well, no shit, Sherlock, winter's coming. If you're in, depending on the part of the world that you're in, but you may be deciding to pick up new hobbies and have a brand new fresh start with creative projects. Maybe you might be getting into painting or writing or drawing. Something switching in the area of your hobbies. Hopefully that makes sense for you. So my Leos, my horoscope for Leo, especially if you're Leo risings. So the eclipse new moon in Scorpio in your 4th house, along with the full moon in Taurus part of the eclipse in your 10th, along with Mars retrograde falling into that 11th house. So the 4th house, especially that brand new moon eclipse season in Scorpio, the 4th house represents family ties, your ancestors. It could also represent the mother, something involving the energy with the moon. There's some brand new cycle going on that has to do with family. And then with that 10th house, with the full moon in Taurus, that has to do with career. You could be manifesting something, or something could be coming into fruition as far as how you make your money goes, how you manifest things, your career, your job life. There's a new beginning, with manifesting in that area. And with Mars going into retrograde in Gemini in that 11th house, that has to do with your social circle. There could be a brand new beginning, endings and beginnings, and you're reevaluating your friendships. This might be a transformative time of your life where you're deciding who stays and who goes, who's showing up for you and who's not. I don't know if that resonates for you or not. Hopefully it does. Hopefully things will be positive. These next few months, there might be a lot of changes going on. And so we'll go ahead and move on to my Virgos. So this will be for my Virgos. This is your horoscope, especially if you're a Virgo rising. If that doesn't resonate, check your Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. So we've got that new moon in Scorpio in the third house, along with the full moon in Taurus in the ninth, and Mars going into retrograde in your 10th house. That probably sounds like a bunch of blah 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 if you don't know astrology that well, so I'll break it down. So that new moon in Scorpio falling under your third house, there may be brand new beginnings in communication. You might be cutting some people off and letting some new people in. That ninth house represents travel, so you might be manifesting a trip. You might be planning some new adventures that you want to be. I think travel and vacation is a big focus of yours, and you want to do something new, some kind of new adventures. And with that Mars retrograde in your 10th house, that has to do with your career. So there might be some setbacks financially for you, and you may be reevaluating some things. And a big theme of Mars retrograde is focus on facing your fears. That'll be your big project until mid-January when Mars stations direct. So we'll go ahead and move on to Libra for my Libra risings, especially if you're a Libra rising. If not a rising, check your Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. So we'll be looking at your 2nd, 8th, and 9th houses that align with the eclipse energy and the Mars retrograde. So I see some brand new beginnings as far as your values go. Possibly having to do with jobs, money, what you think is important. And with that full moon in Taurus that your 8th house lands on, you might be looked at as that support person for a friend or, family, people close to you that are going through some tough times in their life. You might need to be that strong, supportive person to just be there for them so they have somebody to listen to. And with that Mars retrograde in Gemini, you might be reevaluating adventures, vacations, something along those lines, and especially who you choose to bring with you on these vacations. I don't know why I was hearing that or that spoke to me for some reason. But you might be changing up your group of people that you go on trips with. So we'll go ahead and move on to my Scorpio. So this will be for Scorpio. This will be your horoscopes, especially if you're a Scorpio rising. If not, you can try and use your sun sign if that makes sense. Could be your moon or Venus in Scorpio as well. So with that new moon in Scorpio falling in your 1st house, this has strong you do you energy for the next couple of months. And that full moon in Taurus that falls under your 7th house, you could be manifesting some romance in your life, a new relationship, or even more fulfillment with your friendships. Some of you might be single and planning on staying single and going, ha ha ha, what relationship? So if that doesn't apply, take what resonates and leave the rest. And that Mars retrograde in your 8th house, you might be having a tough time, maybe dealing with people that you've lost in your life. Like remembering people that have moved on to the other side kind of thing. It might be the anniversary of something like that. It's a sad subject. I'm just being real. Like, that might be what you're dealing with right now or having a tough time with. And you'll be reevaluating how you remember people. So this will be a transformative period in your life as far as that goes, and you might gain some wisdom in that area. I'm not sure what it's talking about. You'll know if it fits you or not. So we'll go ahead and move on to Sagittarius. So my Sagittarius, this will be your horoscope, and I have to fix something here because I wrote down the wrong signs. maybe it was meant to be that way. I totally skipped a sign, so I screwed my numbers all up here. Okay, so for my Sagittarius, this will be your horoscope. Most likely your rising sign, check your sun, moon, and Venus as well. So Sagittarius, with that new moon in Scorpio along with the full moon in Taurus and Mars retrograde that starts tomorrow, we'll be talking about your 12th house, 5th house, and 6th houses. So you might be transforming through a cycle coming to an end and a new beginning. I mean, that's like the huge theme of eclipse season in general. Endings and new beginnings, totally different cycles, different chapters of your life. You may have manifested something in the creative realms, or, you know, something having to do with children, lighthearted fun, things like that. So I think around November 8th, it'll be a very happy time for you. And you'll feel that energy lift. You'll feel a lightness in the air. You'll have fun like a kid again. And with that Mars retro in Gemini in your 6th house, you may have been having a tough time in the area as far as your health goes. I want to say that around mid-January, when Mars stations direct, there may be some new beginnings as far as your health is concerned. You'll be doing a lot of studying over the next couple of months as far as something medical goes, and you'll have some answers in January that will bring you some fresh new beginnings in the area of health. And my Capricorn rising, so we'll go ahead for my Capricorn horoscopes, especially if you're a Capricorn rising. If you don't know your rising sign, this could apply to your sun, moon, or Venus as well. So we'll be talking about your 11th house, 4th house, and 5th house. So there might be new beginnings as far as friendships go and your social circle. Some people might be leaving that may have not resonated with you, and you might have some new people coming in, and you might be strengthening those bonds with some newer friendships. And then with that full moon in Taurus in your 4th house, the 4th house deals with family, possibly mothering, nurturing, something involving either your mother or a mother figure, or you might be the mother and that mother figure. All things connected to the moon. So you may be manifesting and seeing some things come to fruition as far as your relationship either with your mother or a mother type figure, or family in general. Those bonds might be strengthening. You may have gotten more distant from family members that you just don't click with, and strengthened some bonds with other family members. You may have found out some new news about your ancestors. Maybe you've been going to, like Ancestry.com and studying your lineage, and you've been finding out some interesting information that way. This could apply to you. It may or may not resonate. Take what resonates, leave the rest. And with that Mars in Gemini that's going into retrograde until January 12th, so the area of children, there might be some challenges there. Maybe you've been having some communication issues with your kids if you have any. It could have to do with creativity and your hobbies. You may have been having challenges in those areas. So this will be the time to reevaluate. This is also the time to face your fears, or teach your children how to face their fears. That might be something that's going on for you, and you'll have some new beginnings in January as far as that goes. Alright, so we'll go ahead and move on to my Aquarius risings. This could apply to your sun, moon, or Venus as well. So we'll be talking. Damn, people are outside yelling. I guess somebody got scared of a spider. Wow. So one of my neighbors outside screamed because they saw a spider. So that doesn't have anything to do with your horoscope, but maybe that could be a sign. Google some totem animal meanings as far as what spiders mean. Happy Halloween, I guess. Anyway, so for my Aquarius, this will be your reading, especially if you're an Aquarius rising, but if it's your Sun, Moon, or Venus, that's okay too. This might apply. So new moon in Scorpio, fresh new beginnings, maybe in your love life. There might be new romance coming in, or the ending of a relationship and the beginning of a new, or you could be reevaluating the ways that you look at your relationships. And if you're one of those people that's like, hell with relationships, I'm single forever, and this doesn't apply, then maybe it has to do with friendships, possibly. And with that full moon in Taurus, you could be manifesting something involving the way that you communicate. So, some kind of communication that maybe you've been waiting on that might manifest and come to fruition around that full moon in Taurus with that lunar eclipse on November 8th that we'll be having. And Mars retrograde in the sign of Gemini in your fourth house, that could have to do with challenges involving family, possibly. And also, a huge message for Mars retrograde is facing your fears. So, that might be a huge challenge for you over the next few months. And then with my Pisces risings. So, this will be your horoscope for my Pisces risings. So, in your 8th house, got my numbers mixed up, so that new moon in Scorpio will fall under your 8th house, I believe. I might have my numbers a little bit goofy. It could be your 9th. Yeah, actually, okay, so for my, sorry about that. So this will be for my Pisces risings. It could be Sun, Moon, or Venus if you don't know your rising sign. So this will be for my Pisces. So we'll be talking about your 9th house and your 5th house, as well as that Mars retrograde that'll be in your 4th house. Actually, 9, 3rd, and 4th. You could have some new beginnings on some adventures that you were planning. I think that as far as where you choose to go on vacations might change. This will be a transformative period with that, as well as gaining a lot of wisdom for the next couple of months. And your communication will improve. I think you've been having some issues as far as communication goes, and you might be having a little bit of some issues with family and possibly your hobbies. Like maybe you've been getting bored with your hobbies and you want to switch them up. So that might be a huge focus for you, Pisces. Changing the way that you channel your creativity. I hope this made sense for you. Hopefully everything resonated, and if it didn't, check your Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus and see if that makes sense. And we'll go ahead and move on to some tarot readings for your pick-a-pile for Halloween or Samhain, depending on what you celebrate. Well, for tonight's pick-a-pile reading, we have 3 piles to choose from. Pile 1, the green onyx pyramid. Pile 2, smoky quartz. And pile 3, orange selenite. I'll give you a moment to go ahead and pause the video and choose whichever one you're drawn to. And if it doesn't make sense for you, go ahead and pick the second best one that you liked, and I'll timestamp the piles in the description box below. Alright, pile 1, if you chose the green onyx pyramid, this will be your reading. We'll get a few shuffles here and see what's going on for pile 1. Too many. Alright, let's see what we have for pile 1's reading tonight. So in your overall energy, we have the Hermit card, and what crosses you is the Knight of Wands. I think that a lot of you have been keeping to yourself and in your own world and possibly working on some creative projects. Or you're looking at some fresh new beginnings and you just need some time to yourself to kind of make a game plan and map out everything that you're gonna do. And your goals and fears. So we've got the Queen of Swords in the reverse. And in your distant past, we have the Nine of Swords in reverse. So I think a lot of you have come out of getting over some anxiety that you were having regarding a situation dealing with communication. Maybe there's something that you wanted to tell someone and maybe you didn't have the right words and you were really, really stressing out about it. Or it might have been like an issue that needed to be brought up that was like a uncomfortable thing to talk about and you maybe came to a solution about it. And in the recent past, we've got the Chariot, so you went ahead with the communication, so maybe you're waiting to find out what the person is gonna say back, possibly. I'm not really sure what this is about. And in the near future, we've got the Four of Swords. That, with the Hermit card being your overall energy, I think that you may be going into a period of hibernating because you're going through a transformation before a new beginning is the gist of it that I'm getting. Oh, and we've got the High Priestess. That totally makes sense with the Four of Swords and that Hermit card. So the High Priestess is all about, it's that feminine energy. Whether you're male or female, it doesn't matter. It's, you know, if you're male, it's that feminine energy that's, you know, part of you. Everybody has a little bit of both. So I think these goals that you're working on, you're keeping them to yourself and mostly kind of keeping it a secret, which is good because you want to protect what you're working on, because you don't want outsiders influencing, you know, your processing of different steps to it. Ah, very interesting. Could also be Pisces energy. And then we've got the Ace of Swords. So I do think that that communication you were waiting on is coming through, and I think that it'll be around November 8th, somewhere in mid-November, that you'll get some answers that you've been waiting on. I don't know why. It could be because that's when eclipse season ends, and that might, you know, maybe by the end of November, some major truths will come out. And what action is going to happen next? So we've got the Three of Cups in the reverse. I feel like some of you may be drinking more than usual, or some type of indulgence. If it's not drinking, you might be overindulging to try to comfort yourself because you're dealing with something that's going on in your life, which may have been the reason why you're hibernating. And can I get an outcome for pile 1? We've got the Temperance in the reverse. So I think a lot of you are going to feel really out of balance for a while. A huge weight will lift around the end of November, and then things will improve, things will get better, and then mid-January, I think, things will really get a lot better for you. I want to get one more card for pile 1. And we've got the Fool card. See, I'm glad I pulled that extra card. The Fool is all about new beginnings and taking that leap of faith. And I think that's what you're hibernating, and that's what you're sitting on right now, is there's a major change that you've been thinking about making, and you've been hibernating, going into hermit mode, keeping to yourself, because you just want some time alone to process your thoughts. And ultimately, in the end, you are going to take that leap of faith and go for that new change in your life. I'm not sure what this is about, only you know. Take what resonates and leave the rest if this doesn't make sense. Take a look at your second favorite pile or second favorite crystal and see if that resonates for you. Alright, pile 1, you all have yourselves a great evening and a happy Halloween, blessed Samhain, whichever way you choose to celebrate, if you celebrate. You don't have to celebrate anything. Alright, so we'll go ahead and move on to pile 2. Alright, pile 2, if you chose the smoky quartz, this will be your reading for pile 2. We'll get a few shuffles here and see what's going on for pile 2. Don't mind those little munching and crunching noises. That's my pet chinchilla Snuffy chewing on his wooden shelves. Oh, maybe I can turn the camera to face him so you can actually see him. I always talk about him. Don't mind the messy cardboard boxes. That's just his little stuff that he plays on when he's running around. Just gonna come to the other side here. Here, Snuff, can you say hi to everybody? Can't really see you that well. There he is. Turn the light to face towards him so you can see him. Yep, there's Snuffy the pet chinchilla. Say hi, Snuffy. Hi, everybody. Alright. Just gonna put everything back. Alright, so a bonus for pile 2. You get a viewing of a chinchilla. Just gonna put everything back here. Alright, and go ahead and continue shuffling for pile 2. Whoops. Why don't I knock the pumpkin over about it? Alright, pile 2, if you chose the smoky quartz, this'll be your reading. We'll get a few shuffles here and see what we have for pile 2. I started the shuffle over because I interrupted the original shuffle to show everyone Snuffy the chinchilla. That's my pet that I always talk about. That's my little buddy. So I'll timestamp the separate parts in the description box below. So if you do want to see the chinchilla, you can go ahead and skip to that part. Alright, so what do we have for pile 2 here? So overall energy, we have the 7 of Swords. And what crosses you is the 8 of Wands. So somebody's either lying or stealing, and some communication is gonna come through about somebody that was deceiving you. There's some major deception that was going on here, and you're being kept in the dark about something. If it resonates, go ahead and, assume that this is your reading. I mean, take what resonates and leave the rest. If everything is all happy and good to go, then it's not you and don't worry about it. We'll see what else we have for pile 2. So we have the Ace of Wands here for goals and fears. And in the distant past, we've got the 8 of Swords in the reverse. I feel like maybe you had some kind of secret admirer that wasn't communicating with you or letting you know how they felt. And what happened in the recent past, we've got the 10 of Pentacles in the reverse. Something tells me that they messed it up before something new could even start. If this has to do with you and, you have a situation like this could be you. But if it makes no sense, then maybe this isn't your reading. Maybe that person was deceitful and it was divine protection preventing you from being with them, and it's a good thing they didn't communicate it to you. Like, I just get the feeling of it's too late now. And what's gonna come up in your near future, we've got Judgment, so there's a choice to be made. And then we've got the Knight of Cups in your self position. So I think that you're a loving person that has a lot of emotions. And maybe you had feelings for this person and you didn't know that they had feelings for you, but some type of truth about them came out that you're not viewing them the same as you used to. And we've got the 4 of Wands. And that's the Victory card. It could be once this situation is all ironed out, maybe there will be some sort of victory between you and this person. But there's just a lot of drama surrounding it right now, and I feel like whatever truth this is that's gonna come out will make or break it. It's a make or break it kind of time. And what actions does this person plan on taking? The 9 of Wands. And then followed by the 8 of Swords. So I think that they finally will come through with some action moving towards you. But you feel trapped for some reason. like this new information that you're going to find out, like maybe you're thinking, is this what I really want? If you're all happy and good to go in your relationship, don't worry about it. This isn't for you. This may make sense for some of you. Let's get another card for pile 2. So we've got the Two of Cups in the reverse. I feel like they're gonna come through to you with an offer and you're not gonna go for it. And then we've got the King of Pentacles. So I'm thinking with this King of Pentacles, if this does involve some type of romantic situation, if you do decide to go for it, and you do decide to work it out with this person, it's reminding you, definitely go slow. They're kind of slow moving, and you should definitely move slow with them. And, you know, that's for your own protection, too. If you aren't sure if you can fully trust them yet, then it's better to move slow. And if they are trustworthy, moving slow isn't gonna hurt anything. So I would suggest moving slow. And if this involves a job situation, that new job that you were prospect that you were considering, I would be cautious about it. Something's telling me that maybe that one isn't the one. Wait for the next job opportunity. That one might make more sense. If your intuition was already telling you that, then that's your reading. But if it, if it wasn't, work with what makes sense for you. Alright, pile 2, well, I hope you enjoyed your reading, and I hope things work out for you in a positive way. Have a happy Halloween, or a blessed Samhain, whichever one you celebrate. We'll have a good rest of your night, pile 2. We'll move on to pile 3 with the orange selenite. Alright, pile 3, if you chose the orange selenite, this'll be your reading. We'll get a few shuffles here and we'll see what's going on for pile 3. And immediately, right out of the deck that flew out, we got the Tower card in reverse, followed by the Star card. So I think that a wish is gonna come true for you after you've been coming out of a major upheaval, or after you come out on the other side of this upheaval that's going on, a wish is gonna come true for you. I'm not sure what this is about or if it makes any sense at all. We'll see what the rest of your reading says for pile 3. Flew right out of the deck, the Three of Wands in the reverse. So there's something that you were waiting for and you're tired of waiting. I mean, that could apply to anything. Maybe you're bored listening to a video while you're in the fast food drive-thru. You're tired of waiting for your ships to come in. I'm sick of waiting for my chicken nuggets. Let's go. Alright. Okay, pile 3. So, in your distant past, we've got the Eight of Cups. There was something or someone that you were walking away from. Right off the bat, I think that you walked away from a situation because you were tired of waiting. You were plenty patient enough, and you got sick of waiting, and you walked away. In your recent past, we've got the Hanged Man. So that talks about seeing things from a different perspective. You're in a suspended state of mind, so you're just kind of hanging in limbo right now, in between chapters. This is the magic of the in-between times part of your life. Very fitting for eclipse season. And in your near future, we have the Devil card. I'll find out what's up with that. Why the Devil card? Let me get a clarifier on the Devil card. So we've got the Four of Cups in the reverse, so I think you might be letting ideas or things that aren't healthy or good for you tempt you because maybe you're feeling bored or maybe lonely. So, that's telling you to think about it and think, is this really what my heart wants, or do I think that I want this because I'm bored? I don't know if that makes sense for you or if that resonates at all. Maybe it's saying don't go back to that ex just because you're lonely or bored. If you're considering going back to an ex, make sure it's, because whatever issues were going on are productively being fixed, and things have been constructively aimed in a direction where things could progress rather than repeating the same cycle again. If there's hope that you both learned from the situation and you think you can make amends, go for it. That may be for some of you, but I feel like this is telling you don't be tempted to go back to that ex because you're bored or lonely. And in your near future, we've got the Seven of Pentacles, enjoying the fruits of your labor, it looks like. There was something that you worked really, really hard for, and it's coming into fruition. Like maybe the universe is testing you. Maybe they're sending you that person to see if you'll be tempted again. I mean, you'll know what fits and what doesn't, so take what makes sense and leave the rest. And we've got the Knight of Wands in the reverse. So that's player energy. Yeah, this ex, maybe their issue was they were a bit of a player, and it's telling you, yep, they still haven't learned, they still have that player energy. I wouldn't go for it again if I were you. I could be wrong. If that doesn't make any sense, then don't worry about it. And we've got that Queen of Wands in the reverse. They bring out a different side of you that you don't like about yourself. And we've got the World card in the reverse, having trouble closing out a cycle. That makes sense. Let me get an outcome for pile 3. I've pulled more cards than usual here. And we've got the Six of Swords in the reverse, a delayed journey or a delayed trip. And then we've got the Queen of Swords. So I think that you're ultimately, in the end, you're going to make a head over heart decision, and even though you're all caught up in your emotions over this past person, mentally, knowing what you want and knowing your own mind, that's not what you want, and you're letting your mind be stronger than your heart. As hard as it is, I think you're gonna make a head over heart decision here. And then you've got the Five of Pentacles in the reverse. Yeah, you're tired of feeling like you were left out in the cold, so I don't think you're gonna go for it again with this person. And you may possibly have new love coming in, and if you don't, it's better to be alone than to be with somebody that's not treating you right. I don't know if this makes any sense for you, pile 3. You can pick the second best pile that you wanted if that doesn't make any sense. Well, I hope you have a great rest of your night. Have a happy Halloween or a blessed Samhain, whichever one you celebrate. Well, thank you and have a great rest of your Halloween weekend. Thank you for watching, everyone.